There's been a spurt of terror attacks in Jammu over the past few weeks. And today, Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar is on a two-day visit to J&K. Now, these two developments are not unconnected. This week marks the 5th anniversary of J&K becoming a union territory. It was a temporary move, of course. The long-term plan is to hold elections and restore statehood in J&K. And the Supreme Court has set a September 30th deadline for holding these elections. So will these fresh militant attacks cast a shadow over the elections in J&K? What is the Pakistan Army Chief's game plan? Is there a Pak-China ploy to thin Indian troops from Ladakh? And can elections be held in Jammu and Kashmir? And finally, will terror impact election plans in Jammu and Kashmir? Have alternatives to the National Conference, the PDP, and the Abdullahs been created? Joining me to discuss this is Sheshpal Vaid, former Director General of Police, Jammu and Kashmir, and my colleague Aditya Raj Kaul continues to join me in the studio. DGP Vaid, welcome to the News9 Plus Show.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you.
I want to start by asking you this. The Election Commission team is in J&K today, two-day visit to see if the state is conducive for the conduct of elections. What's your estimate about when elections could be held in Jammu and Kashmir? Because that's literally the most important thing right now. Elections, the restoration of statehood, and finally we can pronounce mission accomplished on the return of Jammu and Kashmir to normalcy.
Good afternoon. The visit of Chief Election Commissioner Mr. Rajiv Kumar is very, very important. And Sandeep, even during my service career, we have seen whenever elections are to be held, the Election Commission would visit, the whole Election Commission would pay visit to the state of Jammu and Kashmir to personally talk to the officers concerned who are in charge of the elections in the state, and they would interact with the Chief Secretary, the Chief Electoral Officer, the DGP, all heads of the security forces, intelligence agencies, and all the district magistrates and the district SPs, because they take care of each district. So, including the divisional commissioners and the concerned zonal IGs. So, this is customary also, but in view of spurt in incidents in Jammu region, it becomes even more important. I'm sure they will be having a fair assessment from all the officers concerned. And though there has been a lot of terror attacks in Jammu, particularly Jammu region, Kashmir has been, in fact, quite okay. If you see, since abrogation of Article 370, things have shown a lot of improvement as far as Kashmir Valley is concerned. But then, as you were mentioning, the Pakistan's sinister plan, that plan definitely we all understand how it's being done, why Jammu is being targeted. In fact, in earlier interview also with you, I had mentioned the threefold motive of the Pakistan. Number one, they wanted to puncture the narrative of the Modi government that things have improved after abrogation of Article 370. Number two, to ease pressure from Indo-China border, Ladakh and Kashmir Valley, and seek the spread of the security forces because by disturbing Jammu region. Because Jammu region suits Pakistan because of various strategic you have a hilly terrain, you have all this Pir Panjal range, you have so many places to hide, unlike Kashmir Valley. Kashmir Valley is largely plain. Each village is connected from 3-4 roads, which is not so in Jammu. There would be 1 or 2 roads going to the district headquarters like Doda or Kishtwar or Rajouri or Poonch. There are hardly many roads. So much of the track you have to do on foot. So it's definitely a lot of hard work for the forces, and mountainous region absorbs a lot of forces. So that way also Jammu region suits. So this is how they wanted to ease pressure in Kashmir, in Ladakh, seek the spread of the forces and puncture this narrative. I think they thought Jammu would be ideal for this, and in fact they chose after having a fair assessment, I'm sure, and seeing that some of the forces were actually withdrawn from Jammu region, like RR units and the paramilitary forces. So that is Asif Munir's plan, and I think, in fact, in one of my tweets, I had mentioned this, that similar attempts were being made in Kashmir, because you see on the border of Kashmir, particularly Machel sector, there was an encounter going on last week. Before that, Keren sector, 2 attempts were made where in one attempt, I think 3 terrorists were eliminated, another 2 terrorists were eliminated. So even Kashmir, they left to them, they will not leave Kashmir also. So now coming to the election part, see, though there is a spurt of terrorism, but then this, let me also mention here, we have conducted elections in much more difficult conditions. I remember I think first election after Dr. Farooq Abdullah fled in 1890, early 90, January 90, and governor's rule was imposed. 95 parliamentary elections were conducted, and that time things were much more difficult. In fact, the numbers of terrorists were so many, I think many times bigger than what it is today, though they were definitely less trained than what today, the kind of terrorists you are facing today. And after that, 96, we had assembly elections where Dr. Farooq Abdullah won, and he became the chief minister. He formed the government. Then again, year 2001 and 2002 was the peak of last 30 years, 35 years. And in 2002, we conducted again assembly election where Mufti Muhammad Sayyid's government and Congress and PDP government, coalition government came into power. So there we have an example where we have, with determination, conducted elections, and that can be done even today. But you would need forces, you would need a lot of deployment, protection of the candidates. On an average, there are 90 assembly constituencies in Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir today, and my experience tells me, on an average, 15 candidates you take per constituency. So you need to protect at least 150 candidates. Then beyond this, they all will have to campaign for their. So you need to provide them protected places for holding rallies. Their movement has to be properly secured. You will have the observers coming. They need to be protected. So all these would require a lot of deliberation, a lot of deployment, a lot of I think
a lot of manpower. Yes, absolutely.
A lot of manpower.
And in fact, DGP Vaid, I was in Kashmir for my first visit to J&K was in fact in 1996, and it was so unsafe. Yeah. We were part of a media delegation from Mumbai. It was so unsafe that we had been given a helicopter by the MOD to fly from one place to the other. It was so, they said we can't guarantee your safety on the ground because there were literally thousands of militants, not hundreds or dozens. Yes. It was like thousands
those days, of... 90s were a different ball
yes,
game.
It was like a full-scale war that we were fighting. But, Aditya, this visit of the Election Commission, very significant today, given the fact that the Supreme Court has given a deadline of 30th of September. Is it possible that we could hold elections before the 30th of September? Or that's just a notional deadline. The government will ask for an extension.
There's an answer that I can give you as an expert, and there's an answer that I can give you perhaps as a friend.
Let's hear the expert answer first.
The expert answer is that, this is good for India's democracy.
Yes.
This is great because after years, we had such historic elections taking place in Lok Sabha. And that's why Pakistan is jittery.
Yes.
You have almost 60% polling in North Kashmir, in South Kashmir, in Central Kashmir.
Absolutely.
And now, there's a very successful tourism.
Yeah.
There's a successful Amarnath Yatra.
Right.
So obviously Pakistan does not want peace, and that's why this Jammu has been opened as a new center.
Yes, a new front.
A new front in many ways. But now, what will the government of India do? there's a political answer to it as well.
Yeah.
The political answer is that the BJP is still not confident that it can independently form a government. And that goes against every logic.
Yes.
Look at the Lok Sabha elections, the kind of voting that has taken place, particularly in North Kashmir.
Right.
It's expected to an extent in South Kashmir, maybe even in Central Kashmir.
Right.
But in North Kashmir, where Umar Abdullah, the former Chief Minister, was contesting and who was defeated massively.
Yeah.
I mean, all the people who used to boycott elections, you could be happy that they are participating.
Yeah.
But they are participating in electing Engineer Rashid, who has been no better than a separatist himself.
Yes.
Who is inside prison for a Hawala case.
Right.
He was arrested 2019. A day or two before the abrogation of 370, and was kept inside. So, as of now, Government of India are giving feelers that elections could take place. The Chief Election Commissioner has gone there. He will review the security. He will review the preparedness of the Election Commission down on ground. My personal feeling now my personal feeling is that these are only kind of feelers that are being given. I don't think the Government of India is prepared to politically have elections in place. They do not have the numbers in their favor unless they come to a backdoor arrangement with National Conference and have elections. Secondly, security is a major problem. When Jammu has been opened as a new front, I completely respect Mr. Vaid's statement that in worse circumstances elections have happened. I also covered elections in the last 10 years. Particularly, I remember, I think in 2014 December, I went all across North Kashmir in freezing cold early in the morning and covered elections when Sajad Lone had also won. But as of now, I don't feel that there is a serious attempt for elections. That's what even in my conversations today with some leaders of the National Conference, they are surprised with this visit because they also don't expect elections to take place. Finally, I will tell you that what could happen is that in the next few months, you could have panchayat elections. You could have lower body elections taking place. And by 30th September, perhaps there will be an answer given in the Supreme Court that yes, we are going to do elections, but let's begin with the panchayat elections, etc.
Panchayat elections.
Test the waters. And then perhaps have the assembly elections maybe next year.
So the time isn't ripe certainly for elections. Very interesting observations there, Aditya. The fact that Engineer Rashid, you wouldn't want Engineer Rashid and his ilk to kind of take power given the way things are. But Mr. Vaid, the fact that one of the stated objectives, or rather the unstated objectives, was to create a new political leadership in Jammu and Kashmir, which was not the traditional, not the National Conference, not the PDP, not the Abdullahs. Do you think that hasn't worked, given what Aditya just mentioned? If separatists, radicals are getting these kind of majorities, does that mean that, yes, the people are coming out and voting, but they're not voting for people, who would be deemed pro-India?
I completely agree with Aditya. In fact, the political maneuvering which I had expected at the time of abrogation, that new leadership will be created.
Yes.
I'm sorry, my statement is very, very blunt. Unfortunately, Delhi has failed in this regard. They propped up two leaders for this Altaf Bukhari, and he formed Apni Party, and then Sajad Lone, who had his own political outfit, People's League. But I think
they also tried Shah Faisal and Shaila Rashid.
Shah Faisal, Shaila Rashid. That you have seen how Shah Faisal has been taken out of the political arena and put back as a bureaucrat. In fact, if I was in his place, I would have been dismissed and put in a jail. That is how you have two-tier policing, what is famous today in UK. That's two-tier policing happens in Jammu Kashmir also. The government treats people like you and me with a different yardstick, and people from Kashmir in a different yardstick. So anyway, coming to this question, see, I think the experiment of Sajad Lone and Altaf Bukhari, I don't think it has taken to ground, my personal assessment is they would not be able to get more than 1 or 2 or 3. That's the maximum number they can even think of. And as things stand today, I don't know what will happen in future. So I think Government of India is maneuvering. In fact, at one point of time, a lot of leaders, in fact, I used to get a lot of phone calls from many people in the PDP and the National Conference that we would like to join some outfit which Government of India is supporting. Anyway, I had no role in this, but I don't know how they thought about I can play a role, but I did get calls. I'm just mentioning here. So I don't think Government of India really played its cards properly, and no alternative was raised. And as things stand today, I think if Aditya agrees with me, I think and National Conference will have a sway in Kashmir Valley as things stand today. And maybe few seats go to PDP in South Kashmir. So, and some to Congress. And that is how things are. BJP's main vote bank was in Jammu region.
Right.
Unfortunately for BJP, even Jammu has not been handled properly. I come from Jammu region and I keep interacting with a lot of people there. The people of Jammu are not happy with BJP. Though when Article 370 was abrogated, there was a celebration in Jammu region. Today, the same party which is unlikely to get votes in Kashmir Valley and its main vote bank was in Jammu region.
Right.
People of Jammu do not, my assessment is they are not very, very happy with the BJP's role. Even if they have whatever development work has been done, I think there's no leader worth his salt in BJP who has actually projected the achievements of BJP government to the people of
the communication gap there. But Mr. Vaid, I'm just going to interrupt you. Aditya had a point to make. Aditya,
I have a very simple point since we have been discussing over the last few days both Bangladesh and Jammu and Kashmir. Something very interesting and common between the two. Gene Sharp in the book Dictatorship to Democracy, writes about the way a non-violent revolution has to be done. Authoritarian regime or a dictator has to be brought down.
By a colored revolution.
By a colored revolution. India and perhaps it's the so-called deep state in India tried to do that in Jammu and Kashmir. A new leadership would be there and there will be a revolution. They were successful in bringing peace to a level, but a new breed of leaders could not be really come about. America, however, has been successful in doing that in Bangladesh. There's been a complete non-violent revolution. Imagine Muhammad Yunus sitting with the US diplomats in 2007, tells them that I have an ambition of joining politics. And they actually award him. They reward him. Nobel Prize had been given already, but Obama later awarded him. Hillary Clinton awarded him. There was a lot of payments that went from USAID and other organizations.
This is all in WikiLeaks. It's been documented
17 to 18 years ago. And then systematically the American CIA worked around and taught perhaps Sheikh Hasina a lesson in their own way.
Absolutely. So this is interesting. The parallels between Bangladesh and Jammu and Kashmir, Aditya. You have the deep state and you have the sleep state. I'm not going to pass judgments on who is what, but that's clearly the way some of these big powers function. They think years in advance, and that I think is the benefit, or if you can call it that, of having deep states in many of these countries. Empires think that way, but that's a separate discussion we must have for another day. But for now, we know that Munir's Jammu game plan isn't working. Elections might not happen in Jammu and Kashmir, but for a different set of reasons, as we just discussed. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, DGP Vaid and my colleague Aditya Raj Kaul.